If I ever mess up, my ex who is here will replace you. My wife said casually to friends after joking she had a backup husband. I calmly walked to the backup, handed him my wedding ring, and said, "Your turn, buddy. She is yours now." I never thought I would be the kind of guy to walk out of his own anniversary party. But then again, I never thought my wife would publicly announce she had a backup plan. It all started 3 weeks ago when she mentioned she wanted to throw a party for our 5th anniversary. To be honest, I was not thrilled about the idea. We had been married for 5 years. Yes, but lately, none of it felt worth celebrating. Still, she insisted. She said it would be good for us, that it would help us reconnect with friends we had not seen in a while. I should have paid more attention to who exactly was on that guest list. The party was at our house. Nothing fancy, just some food, drinks, and about 30 people in our backyard. I was manning the grill when I saw him. Breeze, her college ex, the guy she dated for 2 years before we met. I knew they were still friends, Facebook friends, the occasional like on each other's posts, that kind of thing. What I did not know was that he had been invited to our anniversary party. When I asked her about it, she just shrugged and said one of her friends had brought him casually, as if it were no big deal. The first hour went fine. People were eating, drinking, talking. Normal party stuff. I was actually starting to relax. Then, her friend Melissa started getting louder. She had had a few drinks, and you know how some people get when they drink. Everything becomes a joke. She was standing with my wife and 3 other women near the patio table. I was about 15 feet away, getting another beer from the cooler. That is when I heard it. "Girl, you are so smart." Melissa was practically shouting. "Having a backup husband right here at the party. If he ever messes up, you are covered." The other women laughed. My wife laughed too. Not a nervous laugh or an uncomfortable laugh, but a genuine, amused laugh. I looked over. Breeze was standing right next to them. He had this smug little smile on his face. Not embarrassed or awkward, but confident. For a second, everything stopped. The sounds of the party faded into background noise. I watched my wife's face. She was not shutting it down. She was not saying, "That is not funny," or "Do not be ridiculous." She was smiling at him. Then her eyes met mine. For a split second, I saw something, panic maybe, or guilt, but it was gone fast, replaced with the same casual smile she had been wearing all night. I walked over. Everyone got quiet. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and it is clear everyone was just talking about you? It was like that, only I had heard exactly what they were saying. "That is actually pretty smart planning," I said. My voice came out calm, steady. I even smiled. My wife's face relaxed. She thought I was playing along. Her friends looked relieved. Breeze's smug smile got wider. "I mean, why not have a contingency plan?" "Right." I continued. "It makes perfect sense." I reached into my pocket and took off my wedding ring. It felt heavier than usual. 5 years of marriage, and it took about 2 seconds to slip it off. The backyard went silent. Someone turned the music off. I walked right up to Breeze. He was not smirking anymore. His eyes went wide as I held out the ring to him. "Tag in, buddy. She is all yours now." I dropped the ring into his hand before he could react. He just stood there, frozen, staring at the ring like it was a live grenade. I turned back to my wife. She had gone pale. Her mouth was open, but no sound was coming out. "You wanted a backup. Congratulations. He is your main man now." I said it loud enough for everyone to hear. "We are done." The silence was deafening. 30 people, and not a single one was making a sound. Some were looking at me, some were looking at her. Most were looking at their shoes. I did not wait for a response. I walked through the house, grabbed my truck keys from the kitchen counter, and left. My own anniversary party, my own house, and I just walked away. The thing is, I was not even angry at that moment. It was something else, something clearer, like I had been looking at everything through a foggy window for months, and someone had finally wiped it clean. Behind me, I could hear the party dissolving. Car doors slamming, voices, everyone leaving at once. My phone started vibrating before I even made it to my brother's house. Texts, calls, all from her. I did not answer any of them because here is what I understood as I stood in that backyard. The joke was not the problem. The backup husband comment was not the problem. The problem was that she laughed. The problem was that he had been invited. The problem was the way she looked at him when she thought I was not watching. The problem was that somewhere along the way, I had become the backup plan in my own marriage. My brother did not ask questions when I showed up at his door at 9:30 on a Saturday night. He just took one look at my face, stepped aside, and said, "There's beer in the fridge." That is the good thing about having a brother who has been through his own divorce. He knows when to talk and when to just hand you a drink and put the game on. My phone would not stop. 23 missed calls by the time I finally turned it off. Mostly her, some of her friends, even one from Breeze, which I deleted without listening. I crashed on his couch that night, but I did not get much sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that moment, her laughing, him with his smug smile. That whole scene playing out like I was watching it happen to someone else. Sunday morning, my brother made coffee and sat across from me at his kitchen table. "You going to tell me what happened, or do I have to guess?" So I told him everything. The party, the comment, the ring, walking out. When I was done, he just nodded slowly. "Good," he said. "You did the right thing. It does not feel right. It never does at first." He refilled his coffee. "But let me ask you something. How long have you been feeling like something was off?" That question hit me harder than I expected because the truth was, it had been months, maybe longer. "She has been distant since January," I said. "We barely talk anymore. When we do, it is just surface stuff. Bills, schedules, who is getting groceries. Nothing real. When was the last time you did something together? Just the two of you." I had to think about it. Christmas. We went to her parents' house, but that was not really together, you know? It was just showing up at the same place. My brother leaned back in his chair. "And this guy, Breeze, when did he come back into the picture?" "I do not know exactly. She mentioned she ran into him at the gym about 2 months ago. Said they got coffee to catch up. I did not think much of it then, but now, sitting in my brother's kitchen, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about everything. The gym membership she suddenly wanted in February, the new clothes, the way she started doing her hair differently. I had noticed it all, but I told myself it was just her wanting to feel good about herself. What husband suspects his wife is cheating because she joins a gym? "I need to go back to the house," I said. "Some of my stuff." "You sure that is a good idea right now?" "She has work tomorrow. She leaves at 7:30. I will go then." Monday morning, I waited until 7:45, and then I drove to what used to feel like my home. Her car was gone good. The house looked exactly like we had left it on Saturday night. Half-eaten plates of food on the tables, empty glasses everywhere, the grill still sitting on the patio. She had not cleaned any of it up. I went straight to our bedroom. I started packing a bag, clothes, toiletries, important documents. While I was in the closet, I saw her phone charger on the nightstand. She had left her tablet there too. I should not have looked. I know that, but I did. She was still logged into her messaging apps, and there it was. Weeks of conversations with Breeze. Nothing explicitly physical, but that almost made it worse. It was intimate in a different way. Inside jokes, late-night messages, complaining about me, about how I did not understand her anymore, about how he always knew how to make her laugh. One message from 3 weeks ago. "I am glad you are coming to the party. It will be good to see you." His reply. "I would not miss it. It has been too long." Her comeback. "I know. I have missed this." I took pictures of everything with my phone. Then I finished packing and left. Back at my brother's house, I called a lawyer. I got an appointment for Wednesday. The receptionist asked if I wanted to schedule a consultation or proceed with filing. I said, "Filing." That is when it really hit me. This was not just a fight. It was not something we were going to work through. I was getting a divorce. My phone buzzed. A text from her. "We need to talk, please." I replied, "There is nothing to talk about. You made your decision Saturday night." Her reply came back immediately. "It was just a joke. You are overreacting." I stared at that message for a long time. Overreacting, as if I were the problem, as if I were the one who had disrespected our marriage in front of 30 people. I sent one last text. I saw the messages, all of them. "Do not contact me again unless it is through a lawyer." Then I blocked her number. My brother got home from work that evening to find me sitting on his couch, staring into space. "You okay?" he asked. I found the messages between her and him. He sat down next to me. "How bad?" "Bad enough." I showed him some of the screenshots. He read them, his jaw tightening with each one. "Man, I am sorry. The craziest part is, I do not even think they slept together. Not yet, at least." But she was setting it up, feeling it out, keeping him as an option. "That is almost worse," my brother said. "At least if it were just physical, you could write it off as a mistake. This is calculated." He was right. She had been planning this, maybe not consciously, But she had been setting up her exit strategy, making sure she had a place to land before she jumped. And that party was not to celebrate our anniversary. It was to parade him in front of me, to see if I would notice, to see if I would do something about it. Well, I did something about it. I spent that week at my brother's getting my life in order. I met with the lawyer on Wednesday. I filed for divorce on Thursday. By Friday, she had been served. She called my brother's phone since I had blocked hers. He handed me the phone with a look that said, "It's your call." I took it. "What? How could you file for divorce without even trying to fix this?" Her voice was high-strung. She had been crying. "Fix what exactly? The fact that you have been emotionally cheating on me for months, or the fact that you humiliated me at our own anniversary party?" I was not cheating. We are just friends. Friends do not send each other messages at midnight. Friends do not complain to each other about their spouses. Friends do not look at each other the way you two were looking at each other on Saturday night. Silence on the other end. "You wanted a backup husband," I said. "Congratulations. You can have him full-time. We are done." I hung up. My brother handed me another beer. "Proud of you, man. Took guts." But I did not feel brave. I felt tired. Tired of being the safe option. Tired of being the plan B in my own marriage. Tired of being the guy who was supposed to just take it when his wife kept another man in the wings. What no one tells you about ending a marriage is how many little things you have to untangle. Joint bank accounts, insurance, the lease on her car that I had co-signed, my name on her emergency contacts at work, 5 years of enmeshed lives that now had to be pulled apart. But I was doing it, one step at a time, because staying would have meant accepting that I was not enough, that I needed to compete for my own wife's attention, that I should just be grateful she chose me over her backup, and I was not going to live like that. Not for her, not for anyone. 2 weeks after I filed for divorce, I started putting things together that I should have seen months ago. I was going through old bank statements at my lawyer's office when I noticed it. February 14th, Valentine's Day. I had gotten her flowers and made a dinner reservation at that Italian place she liked. Nothing fancy, but it was a gesture. The statement showed a charge from that same day, $53, at a coffee shop downtown at 2 p.m., when she had told me she would be working late at the office. I checked March, another coffee shop charge. This one for $17. That is 2 drinks and a lunch. April had 3 similar charges. Always during work hours. Always when she said she was busy with meetings or projects. My lawyer, an older guy named Roger Sturl, looked over my shoulder at the statements. "Building a timeline?" he asked. "Something like that. Good instinct. Judges like documentation. It shows you are not just reacting emotionally." But I was not doing it for the judge. I was doing it because I needed to know, I needed to understand when exactly my marriage had ended, because it had not ended on Saturday night at that party. That was just when I finally admitted it was over. The real ending had been happening in slow motion for months. I went back further. January was when she joined the gym. I pulled up our online credit card statements. Sure enough, there was the membership fee, but there was something else too. A charge at a sporting goods store. The same day, $140. I called the store. I asked what someone might buy for that amount. The kid on the phone said probably workout clothes, maybe shoes. She had the receipt. I did not. But I remembered something. She had come home that day with just a gym bag. Said it came with the membership as a promotion. There were no bags from the sporting goods store. I did not see her wear any new workout clothes. So where did that go? My brother got home from work that evening to find me surrounded by printouts, bank statements, credit card bills, phone records I had subpoenaed through my lawyer. "Looks like you are investigating a crime," he said. "Maybe I am." I showed him what I had found, the pattern of charges, the times and dates. He sat down and started helping me piece it together. "Look at this," he said, pointing to March 15th, coffee shop at 2. "But you have a text from her here at 2:30 saying she is stuck in a meeting and will not be home until 7. I checked my message history. He was right. She texted me from wherever she was having coffee with Breeze, lying about where she was and what she was doing. How many times? I asked. How many times did she lie? We counted at least 15 instances where her story did not match the financial records. 15 times she had told me she was somewhere else, doing something else, with someone else. And those were just the ones I could prove. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick it up. "Hello. Hey man. It is Jordan from the party." Jordan, one of the guys from her friend group, a decent enough guy, though I had never spent much time talking to him one-on-one. What do you want? Look, I know this is weird, but I felt like you should know something about that night. I sat up straighter. I am listening. That whole backup husband joke, it was not spontaneous. Melissa had been planning to say it all week. She told a few of us beforehand. She thought it would be funny. My blood ran cold. She planned it. Yeah, and your wife knew. They talked about it. Said it would be fine. That you would take it as a joke. I could not speak for a moment. When I finally found my voice, it came out flat. She knew they were going to say that, and she still invited him. I am sorry, man. I thought about saying something that night, but it all happened so fast. The way you handled it, though, that took balls. Most guys would have made a scene or gotten drunk and stupid. You just left. Respect. After he hung up, I just stood there trying to process it. She had not just allowed the joke, she had approved it. She had probably laughed about it with her friends beforehand. It had all been a test or a power play. Or maybe she just wanted to see if she could get away with it. Well, she found out. My brother ordered pizza that night. We sat on his couch eating and watching a game, but I was not paying attention. My mind was stuck on that conversation with Jordan. You know what the worst part is? I said during a commercial break. I do not think she ever really loved me. No. Come on, man. Do not do that to yourself. No, think about it. We met right after she and Bree broke up. She was on the rebound. I was the safe choice. The guy who had a decent job and did not party much. The guy who would stick around. You do not know that. Oh no. Look at the evidence. The second he is back in her life, she starts pulling away from me. All those feelings she thought she was over, they were not. They were just waiting for him to show up again. My brother did not argue. He knew I was probably right. The next morning, I got a call from my lawyer. She wants to contest the divorce, claims you abandoned the marriage by leaving. That we should try therapy first. Tell her no. I said. We are past the therapy stage. She is also asking for spousal support. Says she cannot afford the house payment on her own. The house is a rental. She can move somewhere cheaper. Or better yet, she can move in with Breeze. Roger chuckled. I will relay that message in more professional terms. Whatever you think is best. I just want this over. After I hung up, I realized something. I was not angry anymore. That initial Saturday night rage had burned itself out. Now I just felt empty, like someone had scooped everything out of me and left nothing but a hollow space. I had spent 5 years building a life with someone who had been keeping an exit strategy the whole time. 5 years thinking we were partners, when really, I was just the understudy until something better came along. That afternoon, I went for a drive with no destination in mind. I just needed to move, to think, to process it all. I ended up at the park where we had our first date. It was a sunny Tuesday, mid-afternoon, kids on the playground, couples walking dogs. Life was going on as usual while mine was falling apart. I sat on the same bench we sat on that first day. She had been nervous. I remembered. She kept fiddling with her hair. I thought it was cute. Now I wondered if she was nervous because she was still hung up on Breeze. If even then, on our first date, I was already the backup plan. My phone buzzed. A message from a number I did not recognize. It's Melissa. I'm so sorry for what happened. I never wanted things to turn out this way. I stared at the message. I never wanted things to turn out this way. But she had planned the joke. She had set the whole thing in motion. I replied, you meant every word of it. You just did not expect me to do anything about it. Her reply came back fast. She misses you. She made a mistake. She made a decision. There is a difference. I blocked that number too. By the time I got back to my brother's house, the sun was setting. Another day done. Another day closer to being legally free of a marriage that had been dead long before I admitted it. My brother was making dinner when I came in. Spaghetti. Nothing fancy, but it smelled good. You okay? He asked. I am getting there. And I was. Slowly, one day at a time, one lie uncovered at a time, one block number at a time. I was getting there. 3 weeks after I started staying at my brother's house, she finally stopped trying to call. The texts trickled off too. From dozens a day to maybe 1 or 2, and then nothing. I thought that would feel like a relief. Instead, it felt like a confirmation. She had given up, which meant she had never been fighting for me. In the first place, she had been fighting not to be alone. My lawyer called on a Thursday afternoon. She wants a face-to-face meeting. Says there are things she needs to say that cannot be done through lawyers. No, I said. I told him I figured you would say that. But she is insisting. Says she will agree to the terms you want if you will just hear her out. I thought about it. The terms I wanted were simple: a clean break, no alimony. She keeps her car, I keep mine. We split whatever is in the joint account 50/50ths. Done. If one conversation could make that happen without months of legal back and forth, maybe it was worth it. Fine, but in a public place, and I want you there. I cannot be present for personal conversations, conflict of interest, but I can sit at a nearby table if that makes you feel better. We arranged it for Saturday morning. A diner east of the city, neutral territory. Plenty of witnesses if things got sideways. I got there 15 minutes early, ordered a coffee. Roger showed up 10 minutes later, took a booth 3 down from mine, and opened a newspaper like he was just there for breakfast. She walked in right on time. I barely recognized her. She had lost weight. Dark circles under her eyes. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked like she had not been sleeping. Good. She slid into the booth across from me. She did not order anything. Just sat there, her hands folded on the table. "Thank you for meeting me," she said quietly. I did not respond, just waited. "I know you are angry. You have every right to be, but I need you to understand something. Nothing happened with Breeze. We never slept together, we did not even kiss. And you think that makes it better? I am just telling the truth. You saw the messages? You know what they said? It was just talk, just friendship." I leaned forward. "Let me ask you something. If the roles were reversed, if I had invited an ex-girlfriend to our anniversary party, if my friends had joked about her being my backup wife, if you had found months of messages between us where I complained about you and talked about how much I missed being with her, would you call it just friendship?" She looked down at her hands. "I thought so. I was confused," she said, "about us, about everything. When Breeze came back into my life, it stirred up all these old feelings, things I thought I was over. I did not know how to handle it. So you handled it by lying to me for months, by meeting him behind my back, by letting your friends humiliate me in front of everyone we know. I never meant to humiliate you. The joke was supposed to be funny. I did not think you would react like that. Like that? Like someone with self-respect." Her eyes welled up with tears. "I thought we could work through it. Go to therapy. Figure out what went wrong. I know what went wrong. You were never over him. I was just the guy who was there when you needed someone. The safe choice, the backup plan." "That is not true. It is not. Think about it. We met 2 months after you and Briss broke up. You were a wreck. I was the good guy who listened to you cry about him, who made you feel better, who did not push you for anything. And eventually, you convinced yourself that that was love." She was crying now, real tears streaming down her face. "A year ago, that would have wrecked me, would have made me want to comfort her, fix whatever was wrong. Now, I just felt tired. But it was not love," I continued. "It was convenience, it was gratitude. It was you settling for someone who would never hurt you like he did. And the second he showed up again, all of that fell apart." "I do love you," she whispered. "You do not love me. You love the idea of me. You love having someone around who makes you feel safe, but you do not love me, because if you did, you never would have done any of this." The waitress came over, asked if we wanted to order food. We both said no. She left us alone again. "I made a mistake," my wife said. My soon-to-be ex-wife. "I see that now. But people make mistakes. That does not mean we have to throw away 5 years of marriage." "You are right. People make mistakes. But this was not a mistake, it was a choice. You chose to invite him to the party. You chose to approve that joke. You chose to meet him for coffee and lunch and whatever else while lying to me about where you were. Those were not mistakes, they were decisions. So that is it. You are just giving up on us." "I am not giving up on anything. You gave up months ago. I am just finally accepting it." She reached across the table like she was going to take my hand. I pulled away. She froze, then slowly pulled it back. "Is there anything I can say? Anything I can do? You can sign the divorce papers. You can agree to the terms, and you can let me get on with my life. What about the house? All our stuff. Keep whatever you want. I do not care about the furniture or the dishes or any of it. I just want out." She was silent for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was barely audible. "Bryce, what about him? Did you mean it? When you said he could have me, I almost laughed. Are you asking for my permission to date your backup husband?" "No, I do not know. I am trying to understand what happens now. What happens now is you do whatever you want. You are free. That is what you wanted, right? Freedom to explore your options. Well, now you have it. I am not in your way anymore. That is not what I wanted. Then what did you want?" To keep me as your safe option while you figured out if something better came along. To have it all, she replied, because we both knew that was exactly what she had wanted. I stood up, dropped a $10 bill on the table for my coffee. My lawyer has the papers. Sign them. Move on. Find whatever it is you are looking for. Just do it without me. Please, do not leave. Not like this. Like what? With dignity, with my self-respect intact? I am sorry, but I am not going to sit here and let you make me feel bad for refusing to be someone's second choice. I walked out of that diner and did not look back. Roger followed me out to the parking lot. You okay? He asked. Yeah, I am okay. That was brutal to watch, but you handled it well. You stayed calm. You did not get emotional. I have been emotional for 3 weeks. I am done with it. He nodded. She will sign the papers. I saw it on her face and inside. She knows it is over. Good. How long until it is final? 60 days minimum, but probably closer to 90 with processing time. 3 months. 90 days until I was legally free of a marriage that had been dead for longer than either of us had admitted. I drove back to my brother's house. He was watching a game in the living room. How did it go? He asked. About how you would imagine. She cried, said she made a mistake, asked if there was anything she could do. What did you say? I told her to sign the papers and move on. My brother smiled. Proud of you, man. You did not cave. I was not even tempted. You know what the craziest thing is? Sitting across from her today, I realized I have not missed her. I have missed being married. I have missed having someone to come home to. But her specifically, I have not missed her at all. That is how you know you made the right call. I could not sleep that night. Not because I was upset or regretting anything. I just kept thinking about the look on her face as I walked out of that diner. The realization hitting her that I was really gone, that there was not going to be some dramatic reconciliation, that she had gambled on me being too weak to leave, and she had lost. My phone buzzed around midnight. A text from her number. I had unblocked it after the meeting, thinking we might need to coordinate logistics. I'm sorry for everything. You deserved better. I stared at that message for a long time. A part of me wanted to reply, to say something cutting, to make sure she understood exactly how much she had hurt me. But what would be the point? Instead, I wrote, I know, and left it at that because I did deserve better. I deserved someone who chose me first, who did not need a backup plan, who did not compare me to an ex-boyfriend every time things got tough. And now, I was free to find that person. Or maybe I would not. Maybe I would just focus on myself for a while. Rediscover who I was without someone else's drama weighing me down. Either way, I was done being Plan B. 6 weeks after I walked out of that diner, I signed the final divorce papers. Roger called to tell me it was official. I was a single man again. Congratulations, he said. Go celebrate. But I did not feel like celebrating. I felt relieved, like I had been carrying something heavy for months, and I could finally put it down. I had moved out of my brother's house 2 weeks before. I found a small house to rent on the other side of town. Nothing fancy. 2 bedrooms, a decent backyard, a quiet neighborhood. It was mine, with no shared history, no ghosts. Work had been my salvation through all of this. I had thrown myself into projects, picked up extra shifts when I could. My boss noticed. He called me in one day and told me I was on the list for a promotion. More money, better hours, a fresh start in more ways than one. I started going to the gym, not the one she joined, but another one across town. I started running again, something I used to do before we got married but had stopped for some reason I could not remember. Now I remembered why I loved it. The clarity, the quiet, just me and the road. One Saturday morning, I ran into Jordan at the hardware store. He was buying painting supplies. I was looking at grills. Hey man, he said. How have you been? Okay, better. I heard the divorce is final. I am sorry it came to that. Do not be. It is the best thing that could have happened. He hesitated, then said, you should know something. The thing with her and Breeze, that lasted about 2 weeks. I was not surprised. What happened? Turns out he was not really interested. He liked the attention, the ego boost of knowing she was into him. But when it turned into something he had to commit to, he bailed. So she lost both of us. Basically, she has been calling people trying to get sympathy. Most of us are not buying it. I nodded, picked up the grill I had been looking at. Thanks for telling me, but honestly, it does not change anything. Even if they had gotten married, I made the right call. Yeah, you did. That night, I assembled the grill in my backyard. I had my brother over. We cooked steaks and drank beer and talked about everything except her. You seem different, he said. Better. I feel different. Lighter. Maybe, like I can breathe again. You going to start dating eventually? No rush. I am okay on my own for now, learning who I am without someone else's chaos. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I almost did not look, but curiosity got the better of me. It's Breeze. I owe you an apology. I showed it to my brother. He laughed. You going to reply? Nope. He is not worth my energy. Neither of them are. I deleted the message, blocked the number, and went back to my steak. 3 months after the divorce was final, I was driving home from work when I saw her. She was at a gas station, filling up her car. She looked tired, older somehow. For a split second, I thought about stopping, asking how she was, being civil. But then I remembered that party, that joke, that smug smile on Breeze's face. And I just kept driving because some chapters need to be closed completely. No epilogues, no footnotes, just done. I got home, grilled some chicken, sat on my back porch watching the sunset. My phone was silent, my house was quiet, my life was my own, and for the first time in years, that was enough. A year after that anniversary party, I was sitting in my backyard on a Saturday afternoon when I got a message request on social media. Her name popped up. I stared at it for a minute, debated ignoring it, but something made me open it. I know I have no right to contact you, but I need to say this. You were right about everything. I was using you as a safety net. I was never really over Eyes. And when he came back, I convinced myself those feelings meant something. They did not. He did not want me. Not really. And I threw away the only person who actually did. I am sorry. I hope you are happy. I read it twice. Then I replied with a single sentence. I am. That was it. That was all she needed to know. I did not tell her about the promotion or the house, or how I had started seeing someone new, someone who chose me first, someone who did not need a backup plan. She did not need to know any of that. My happiness was not about her anymore. I deleted the message thread, went back to my book. My phone rang. The woman I had been seeing for 3 months. Her name was Claire. She worked in accounting at a company 2 buildings down from mine. We had met at a coffee shop. Started talking. Kept talking. Hello. I answered. You still coming over for dinner tonight? Would not miss it. Good. I am making that pasta you liked. After I hung up, I thought about how different this felt, how easy it was. No games, no hidden agendas, just 2 people who enjoyed each other's company. My brother stopped by that afternoon before I went to Claire's place. You look good, man, he said. Happy. I am. You think you will ever tell Claire the whole story of the anniversary party to Claire? Maybe someday, but not yet. Right now, I am just focused on building something new, something better. He smiled. That is the right call. As I drove to Claire's place that night, I passed the street where the old rental was, the one I had shared with my ex. I did not even slow down. I did not feel anything. That part of my life was over. I had walked away from that party with nothing but my dignity. It turned out that was the only thing worth keeping. Claire opened the door with a smile. Dinner was ready. We ate and talked and laughed. Simple, genuine, exactly what I needed. Later that night, driving home, I realized something. That anniversary party was not the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was the best, because it forced me to stop settling, to stop accepting less than I deserved. I had handed my wedding ring to a man who did not want it. I had walked away from a woman who did not appreciate it. And I had found my way to something real. The silence in that backyard had been deafening, but the peace I found afterward, that was louder. Our story has come to an end. If you have made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I have selected 2 other videos for you that I am sure you will enjoy. Feel free to click on them.